Hey everyone, welcome back to the KEMPIRE Daily YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the uploads. So in today's video, I just wanted to do a sort of weekend roundup of hot topics. As you know, we talk about hot topics all the time on my podcast, The KEMPIRE. Links will be available in our description box, so make sure you subscribe. So one of the hot topics everyone's been talking about this weekend is Adele. She hosted Saturday Night Live last night. Adele did a great job last night. I think everyone was sort of looking at her to see, to see her new body. I think a lot of people expected her to be the musical guest along as being the host, but she confirmed during her monologue at the very beginning that her album isn't done. I think everyone, after seeing her last night, really wants this album. During a Bachelor sketch, she did sing a couple of times throughout that sketch, which was very funny. One thing that if you know Adele, or if you've seen Adele interviews or behind the scenes, Adele is a funny person. So to see her in this element was really interesting and really good. I really enjoyed the sketches that she was in. I think a lot of people might have, if you have a hard time understanding English accents from the United Kingdom, I guess they would call her particular accent from England Cockney. Not sure, it might be incorrect. Let me know in the comments. But so I think if you're not used to hearing accents like that, you might have had a hard time understanding her throughout the episode. But I think overall she was funny. She looked great. She spoke briefly about people's expectations in regards to her weight. She looks amazing, even though she's lost, I believe, over 100 pounds. She's still very curvy where it matters. So I mean, she looks great. And for some people, for some reason, people think just because you lose weight, you might lose your voice. Well, she proved that wrong during that Bachelor sketch where she sang some of her hits. And that just reminded me how much we need Adele music. I love Adele. I've loved Adele since the beginning, even before everyone knew who she was. She was performing already here in New York City before she really hit it big. But she did a great job, and so did her. The musical artist was amazing. I mean, if you haven't been following her already in regards to, her big hits, and, she's already working on new music. So she performed 2 new songs during last night's Saturday Night Live. She sounded amazing. She looks amazing. Now we're starting to see her eyes as opposed to shades. That was her whole shtick before she came out, was the focus on the voice. No one knew who she was, even though we know now. She's been in the industry for a very long time. But she's sort of like a throwback to like an Alicia Keys, where you play multiple instruments, you're a real artist, musician. So it was really great to see how far her has come, multi-Grammy wins since this time, since her debut album. And now she's working on this new project. I'm excited to see what she does. I want to see the momentum continue to build, especially for such a talented person. But being on Saturday Night Live is a huge deal, especially for R&B artists. So congratulations to them. They did a great job. Let me know what you thought of Adele and her last night on Saturday Night Live. In other news, I want to talk a little bit about a story that I posted on TikTok. And again, if you're not following me on TikTok, I do quick snapshots of stories in the news, along with a bunch of other things, similar to what we do here, but this is more an expanded version. If you just want a quick snapshot of what's going on, or thoughts, or affirmations, hot topics, things like that, follow me on TikTok. But anyways, other than that, I spoke about a story in regards to Wendy Williams. First, I want to preface this by saying I love Wendy Williams. A lot of people probably don't even realize that I like Wendy Williams. I like Wendy because beyond just being a gossip, in the industry and sometimes saying hurtful things about celebrities, Wendy does have this very natural, funny side. I've been listening and following Wendy since she was here in New York City. Even before she was on WBLS, I remember when she was on Hot 97, and even before that when she was on Kiss FM. So I've been following Wendy's career for a long time. So I kind of have a gauge on if there's a difference in her now. And of course, for daytime, she had to change it up a little bit, although she still makes headlines for some of the things that she says about celebrities. But as you know, in the last couple of years, with her recent divorce, struggles with sobriety, allegedly, and just a lot of things passing out on television, a lot of rumors have been swirling. Well, according to Love B. Scott, they have an exclusive with insiders at the Wendy Williams show. They're stating that the entire production is worried about Wendy, and her audience is her staffers right now, and they're worried that she's not even able to make it through an entire episode. And as I said before, this is all alleged, but I'll say this. I have noticed a difference. I know that she relies on Norman a lot for information, but I didn't want to just say that was the reason why, she's not sober or whatever it may be, because sometimes when you're doing a live production like this, it's kind of harder to remember everything you said, did, or what you talked about. But there are some noticeable, subtle differences. And if you've had a drug issue or a sobriety issue, you probably notice it better than I would. However, this is what they're reporting, and I want to kind of read some of the information. And shout out to B. Scott for this exclusive. Sources close to the Wendy Williams show exclusively tell lovebscott.com that they believe Wendy is self-medicating, and they put in parentheses again, with prescription pills or some kind of opioid. The production staff is at a loss for what to do. Because of COVID, the staff sits in the audience every show, and they're constantly worried she's going to pass out on the air like before. Some days it's so bad the producers will pull the plug and air a repeat. But it's a big production, and they can't keep wasting money like that. If you recall, back in 2017, Wendy infamously passed out mid-show of the Halloween episode. But we all associated that with Wendy going through marital issues with Kelvin. But apparently, she went into a sober house, but she sort of played that off after the Kelvin situation was over and sort of was like, no, I did that to kind of get away from him. But apparently there might be some sort of issue. It's an awful situation, and everyone involved around her is both concerned and over it. Everyone feels bad for all the personal drama she's gone through the last few years at the hands of her ex-husband, but what can they do, says the source. Despite Wendy's multiple health battles and multiple hiatuses, Debmar Mercury, who produces the show, decided to renew Wendy's show after their planned replacement, the Jerry O'Connell show. There were rumors that Jerry O'Connell was supposed to come in and replace Wendy. I didn't think that was true. I thought this was Wendy sort of coming to usher Jerry O'Connell in because he had been hosting for her, and she was trying to lean in more in the production realm. However, I don't know how they thought that was going to be a perfect replacement for a Wendy Williams, a Jerry O'Connell, but that failed, as everyone saw. The quote goes on to say, it's really the top brass at the studio, Debmar Mercury, who need to step in and put their foot down, make her go to rehab and get the help she clearly needs. It was hoped that she would pull it together over the long summer hiatus, which they started early because Wendy was having issues then. Remember, they released a statement. She was doing part of the show from her home, and they last minute said, Wendy's Graves' disease is acting up and she has to take this time off. So there might have been something more going on. While Wendy does battle the Graves' disease, insiders know that the viewers are beginning to wise up and realize something appears to be going on. They always attribute everything to her thyroid disease medication, but that's obviously just a cover story and no one buys it anymore. Friday's show was the worst it's been, the source says, and I have not watched Friday's show, so now after this, I'm going to watch it. Even her manager, Bernie, who she references frequently on the show, is over it. They are horrified and very worried about her. They say it's like coming to work and watching a train wreck every day, a very sad situation. Anyone struggling with sobriety is a sad situation. Addiction is real, and Wendy it has spoke about her previous addiction many, many years ago. It seemed that she was over it, but I guess if you have an addiction problem, and she never went to rehab, she confirmed that in her book, but maybe now with everything that's been going on, it's time for Wendy to go to rehab or get some sort of help, some sort of assistance, if that is what she's allegedly struggling with. I know on the show she shares a lot about wanting to be in a relationship And maybe that's where she's struggling, is not being able to find, after that whole Kelvin situation. If you don't know the full story, Google it. I can only imagine what that would put someone into, especially if you want a marriage and you want to be in a relationship. And that's what she's desperately trying to find now. And I feel like you were with this man for a long time. It might be a good time to just be with yourself, work on whatever issues may have been going on during that time, because any relationship, I feel like everyone plays a part. It wasn't just Kelvin's fault. Yes, there was a lot of fault on his side, but you play a role too, especially if you decide to stay in that relationship. Maybe there's some forgiveness that needs to happen. Maybe there's some therapy that needs to happen. And Wendy she has not really been a big advocate of, therapy and things like that. She's more taking care of herself and being with herself and figuring things out herself, plotting for herself. I think now more than ever, it might be time to get some assistance, instead of relying on people that can't do that for you. Your staff can't be that emotional support for you. They can only do their job. But like I said, this story is alleged. Shout out to B. Scott for the exclusive. I want to know your thoughts. Have you been watching the Wendy Williams show? Have you noticed something? Are you someone that's struggled with sobriety and you've noticed the signs within her? And what were those signs that you're seeing? Let's talk about it in the comments. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of the uploads. And I'll see you tomorrow.